Hello, it's Jeremy with Quick Strike Marketing. I'm the IT guy here. I just want to go over a few instructions of basically how to set up the X-Lite and your virtual, or also known as your virtual phone, and go over some of the dialer and how it works and some of the functions of that. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to start off, obviously you've watched the other video. If you haven't, definitely get to the other video and watch that. Basically, once you've installed these two, or installed the applications, we're going to go over the details and instructions of that. So basically we're going to start with the X-Lite. Should be an icon on your desktop. So what you're going to do is to go ahead and double click on that. And when that comes up, basically it's going to come up with as a default basically no settings. So we're going to basically have to add those settings in there. Just give it a moment here. Alright, as you can see, there's no information here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that information. So you click on add. Now we're obviously going to need to type out the information. You should have received an email that basically has this detailed information in there. I have some information I've already placed in here, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring that over here so you can see that. What I'm going to do is type in your display name, which is going to be your first name, your last name, and the username is going to be the user ID that you are assigned. So usually that's going to be extension number, so you can see as I assigned this one here is 500. We'll type in the password, and then obviously the username again. As you can see where it says domain, you're actually going to type this in here, dialer.quickstrikemarketing.com, and I'm just going to go ahead and cheat here. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this to make it a little bit easier. And once you've done that, you'll see as the screen here shows domain proxy. Just make sure the check mark is checked for register with domain and receive incoming calls. Once that's checked, make sure that is. Should automatically be there, but if it's not, definitely make sure that's checked. And once you've completed that, there's no other settings need to be changed. In this section, just click OK. Now, as you can see, the next screen shows that it's enabled. Make sure that definitely stays enabled. So go ahead and click on Close. Now, what's going to happen here is the system is going to actually register with our dialer system. Once that's completed, as you can see, it'll say ready. It'll say your username is 500 or whatever your username is. That's going to be your username. Now, two notes that I would like to make note here. One, basically this button here, it basically hides it to the system tray. So you do not want to use that button. And I'll show you what happens whenever you do this. You will need this phone for being able to use transfers, internet extension, that sort of thing. So you'll definitely use this periodically. So what happens is if you click this and you can't find it, you see here on the task bar here, you'll see where the two little screens, the two little arrows point each other. You want to make sure that is there, and if it's not, usually what happens is you can see whenever you click that, it disappears. Usually you can find this over here by clicking the little arrow over here in the system tray, and you can actually double click on that, and it's a little icon, looks like a little person on there, and you can basically bring it up that way. If you can't find it down here, or it's not down here, you can actually double click it on your desktop. It should bring it up automatically. But with our purposes, we basically want to use the minimize. This is the middle button, the little underscore there, and that basically leaves it there so you can quickly access it. So that's kind of what we want to go over. Now, there's a couple settings that we need to change here. Underneath the menu, what this is the little arrow. So you're going to click on the arrow there and click on Options. Now what's going to happen is you're going to be able to see a lot of different settings. We're only going to be focused on a couple of them here. So you want to click on the alerts and sounds. When you click on the alerts and sounds, you'll see that there's two check marks here. One is going to be pop up the phone if it's not in focus. You want to make sure that's checked. Also, check the make sure that the show call alert is also checked as well. And basically, those two things are the main things that you need to make sure. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to go over just a little bit of a troubleshooting tidbit. Usually, the common problem that I see is that not able to, the headphones aren't working or something along those. You're going to find those settings underneath the devices, so you might want to keep note of that information. Basically, the devices, you'll see where it says Logitech USB headset. Make sure that if you're using the USB headset, which you really should because it works a lot better than some of the regular traditional standard audio jack headsets. So basically, we want to make sure those have that, and this is where you change that information you can click the little drop down and it'll select different options. So make sure that it has the USB. It should automatically be set there, but if you ever have problems with it, check those first, and then if you can't figure it out, then definitely hit us up on the Skype chat, and we'll be glad to look in and troubleshoot those further. Once you've done those two things, at least for the alert and settings, make sure you just click OK, and that'll save those settings. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the dialer URL. So you'll double click on that on your desktop. Again, if you do not have Firefox, you will need Firefox for this to use or to work correctly. So you'll double click on that, and again, basically it'll bring you to this page. Now, as you've seen earlier, I actually had a screen that had earlier I had this screen, with the basically this. You want to be you're going to get two sets of login information. One's going to be for the phone, the virtual phone, and the other one is going to be actually for the dialer system. You should only need, and I'll just make note that before, when we added the information here, let me just go in here briefly because I know that this is a common question. We don't really need this password usually ever again. It's only, I know it's a very long password, but that is the only time that you'll use that password. So any other time you don't have to remember, like, oh man, that's a long password to remember. You don't have to remember that for future. So it's just that section that you have to remember that. So back to this screen. Basically, we're going to type our phone login, and in this case I'm using phone login of 500. And the username, obviously I'm using it for this demo purposes, so I'm going to be using Agent01. It's going to be your first initial last name. Now the password is actually going to be the password that you've set up. Now the first time you use this, it should prompt you to change the password. So essentially, obviously I'm accessing this after hours, so I'm going to have to do an override, but you will not see this basically on that. So just give me a moment here. Let me get that override section. Just one moment. Alright, basically after, obviously I had to log in with that information because I'm after hours, not during the call period time. So as you can see that the remember password, I usually say never remember this password for this site because a lot of times it'll save passwords and then it gets confusing and that sort of thing. So again, you'll basically log in your information there, and you click at the campaign. You should be only be able to see a couple of campaigns or one campaign, whichever one you're assigned to. You'll be able to view that. So once you've entered your information, you'll hit submit. What's going to happen is this is going to automatically bring up a phone call, and so you'll be able to then see your information. And because this obviously has audio, I'm going to go ahead and disable that for now. So essentially, you're going to see this screen here. And what this screen is your dialer system. So basically, as soon as you log in automatically, it's going to pause you, put you in a pause mode. When you're ready to start receiving phone calls, you're basically going to hit resume. Once you hit resume, then basically calls are going to go ahead and proceed. You will start receiving phone calls at that point, and essentially that's how that kind of works. Now, if you need to pause the system, you can basically push the pause button. You'll see, as you see on the screen here, you'll see different pause codes. Now, obviously, let's say I'm taking a break, so I will select the break option. But let's say if I'm in the middle of a phone call, or I have a phone call and I need to do some work on the account or only a situation afterwards, you need to pause. So essentially, you would obviously use the after call to work code. So essentially, that's kind of how that works. I'm actually going to make a call here in just a moment to be able to show you guys how that works. Alright, so basically what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a manual call. Now again, you guys will not have this option available, so you guys don't have to really worry about this. But basically, once a call comes through, what's going to happen is you'll see a screen here that's going to change. What's going to happen, this is going to turn into a live call now. Now, obviously, you're going to go through your script. Customer or the person's on the line. You're going to go through the script process. Once you do that and you're ready to transfer to a live representative, that's what we're going to be doing for the first week here. So basically, go ahead and hit click on transfer to live representative, and that's just going to bring this page up here. Basically, go through the steps here, fill out the information as required, and then basically hit ping. Now what's going to happen here is the next page is actually going to show up. Now I'm outside the hours to be able to actually be able to show you that page. So what's going to happen is over here in this corner here, essentially you'll see the the school name, and it'll also have an 800 number and a PIN number. Now that PIN number is what you're really going to want to pay attention to, because it does change. The 800 number, you don't really need that number. We've actually programmed that number in our system here, so that way you can actually use the speed dial, and I'll go over that in just a moment. But basically, on that second page, once you've actually everything checks out and you're able to go ahead and transfer the person to the college, all you need to do is do that. Basically, remember that code, and you go back to this screen over here, and basically click on transfer. And as you can see, this brings up another little window here, and you'll see where it says presets. You're going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see where it says school transfer number. Now go ahead and select that, and what's going to happen is it's automatically going to program that in our dialer system, to where basically when you dial with the customer, you might let the customer know that they're going to hear a series of beeps, and you're going to be on the line with them. So you're going to click on where it says dial with customer, and when you click on that, it's actually going to bring you and the customer with the system. So what's going to happen is it's going to say enter your transfer code or enter your PIN. You enter that PIN number, and then you'll be then connected to the school. Again, the customer is going to be on this call during this whole time. Once you've established that you can release the call, basically what you're going to do is you're going to click on the leave three-way call. That basically leaves them, and you can move on to the next call. Now, however, there are some occasions that you may call the school or mistype to dial that number, and for some reason you end up in a different school than it was supposed to happen. Sometimes that may happen. Try to obviously do that. But when you do this transfer, you're going to need to use the X-Lite. Basically, you're going to go down here to type your PIN. So when it asks, when you basically, the way that works is you again, I'll go through this. You'll hit transfer. You'll hit the preset. You don't want to click on this, and basically hit dial with customer. It's going to ask for that PIN. You're going to go over to here to the phone, and you're going to type that number in, that PIN number. So if it's 2000, you'll dial 2000 from here. You can only do that when this screen is active, and you can use the keypad on your keyboard if you want. But just wanted to know this has to be active in order for that to work. And then you can move back over here. And then, like I said, if let's say you mistype the dial and it starts calling some of the wrong number, you can click on hang up transfer line. That'll end that line, and then you can retain and retype that. And basically, you hit that, then go back in here, do the same thing again, just in case you accidentally hit the wrong number, and that will allow you to fix that problem. Basically, that's the steps of really how to do that. And then once you hit leave three-way call, what's going to happen is it's actually going to bring up the disposition screen, which I will show you now. Basically, you'll see this screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and leave this on the screen for just a brief moment so you can actually see all the different transfer options. You got answer machine and the different options, and you'll be using these throughout the call. So if you get someone, maybe they didn't answer or they're not interested, you select the different options. So if you want to pause the video, review those, that you can do that now. Basically, what you want to do with the disposition, you're going to click on it one time. Now, obviously, you're going to be moving through phone calls quite quickly. So, obviously, not every call you're going to need to go down here and you need to pause. So, essentially, what that means is if you double-click it, it's automatically going to put you back into the system. So, it's automatically going to log you back in, ready to take another call, and you can hit another call easy. So, if you want to basically, you don't want that to happen. So, what you want to do is basically, let's say you need to take a break after the call. So, it means that was a transfer. We're going to go ahead and select transfer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the call because I don't want another call. So I'm going to hit submit right here. And what's going to happen is it's going to prompt me for the pause code. So I'm going to go ahead and hit, let's say I need to do some after call work. I need to do some notes or whatever. That's essentially how you do that. And you can change pause codes from basically where it says enter pause code. You can change it to break. I need to go to break. But if you're going to be on a break for quite a period of time, let's say you're going to be gone for an hour, what I ask that you guys do is basically log out. Mainly because it ties up the system with, the system thinks you're going to be logging back in, so it does skew the numbers when it comes to trying to dial out. So it's best to just go ahead and click log out if you're going to be out for a period of time, and then log back in at a later time. And so essentially that's kind of what that is. So that's kind of essentially how that works. And basically I'm going to show you how to go through receive a phone call. Alright, so basically now we're receiving a phone call. If we're in pause, you can see where it says calls in queue. What's going to happen here is basically you can see it's showing up as red. Now, if we see that, we really should try to log in to try to get that call, because there might be somebody there wanting to get a transfer or get a find out what's going on. Because essentially, what happens is we're dialing out, our phone number is going to show up as a caller ID, and then people can call back. So what we're going to do is hit resume here, and what's going to happen is we're automatically going to get a call. As you can see, it shows as orange. You can see that obviously, hey, there's somebody here. You can see there's an incoming call because it automatically flags it right here. And then you can answer, hey, basically that's answer the call there with the scripting that's necessary for that. So basically, what we're going to do, obviously, I just wanted to show you exactly how that works. The system will try to find who they are based on the caller ID information. So if they have a caller ID, as long as they call back from the same number, it should automatically pop their information. If it doesn't, you can automatically add the information here. So obviously, if you want to pause or you basically put the customer on hold at any point, you basically want to park the call right here, as you can see, and this goes on incoming or outbound. So you can pause the call, and as you see, it basically parks the call, and you got a timer. Now they'll be listening to music during this time. And if you need to retrieve that call, you just hit grab, boom, you've now got it. So that's essentially how that works. I know this information has been kind of short, but I wanted to make sure everybody understands how this works and just the scenario of that. If you guys have any questions, basically feel free to message me on Skype. My Skype ID basically is jeremy.shies, and that's SCHIES. So essentially, that's why you can find me on Skype. Or if you can't get me on Skype, or basically you want to try to see if we get, if you have a question or issue, definitely get in that team chat. I'll look at it, try to figure what's going on for you, and then we'll go from there. But if you can't get on the Skype or you can't get on there, just send an email to support@quickstrikemarketing.com. and basically put in the subject of what's going on, and I'll try to get to you as quick as possible. But the fastest way is definitely the team chat, because I do watch that quite frequently. So if you have any issues, whatever, that's how you do that. And we'll go from there if you need help. So thank you very much for watching the video, and good luck using the system. If you have any issues, let me know. Thank you.